Hello, and thank you for saying yes to joining us in our upcoming ceremonial book reading of
Somatophobia.
I'm Dr. Shelley.
And I'm Kumar Prasad.
And we've been happily married now for
13 years, going on 14 next year.
And both of our paths are very similar in that we both have been on a journey of healing and looking for the more that we know is possible.
We've literally taken every modality known to man. I know I have been on this pursuit for at least 40 years and have spent thousands of dollars trying to figure out the way to heal myself. I've tried meditation, breath work, yoga. I became a yoga trainer. Nothing works until what we've discovered.
And I spent 15 years, thousands of dollars doing it all, getting triggered still, the same not enough wound showing up. In my practice, well, I had 4 practices in 3 different countries, thinking that was going to be the solution to my burnout, but it wasn't, because I was burnt out, knowing that there was more that I could guide my patients to. But what? I was tired of seeing them return with the same pain and symptoms, which I also saw in my healing journey. So at the height of our burnout, UFO, the strongest psychedelic or plant medicine on the planet, showed up in both of our lives, sending both of us an individual message within a 2-week time frame.
And that is, believe it or not, folks, our very first psychedelic. We literally went from 0 to 100 miles an hour because 5-MeO-DMT is the most powerful psychedelic on the planet. And that was our first experience.
And that was our rebirth. That was our wake-up call. And that shook us awake into giving birth to somatophobia. And real quick, Somatophobia is the book I spent my entire life looking for externally. I never found it because it was in my body all along. And believe it or not, one ayahuasca ceremony gave birth to this book.
That was one ayahuasca ceremony how many years ago?
2020?
Yep.
4 years ago?
4 years ago.
At least, yeah. And I always knew I had a book in me. Always knew I didn't want to have kids. Little did I know it was the book that I spent my whole life looking for.
That was your kid.
And it was beautiful because in the ayahuasca ceremony, you spent the entire ceremony between the purging, reading and writing a book on Mother Earth. And I spent the ceremony purging the blockages to being able to receive this wisdom, to be able to share. So this book reading is not a typical traditional book reading.
You're not going to just show up and sit and hear us talk about the book. That's not how we work. So first, let's tell you a little bit about ourselves. Then we'll tell you a little bit more about the book.
What you need for the ceremony and why you need it.
Why you need it, what's going to happen when you say yes. And we do have some disclaimers at the end that we always like. Why we're doing this video and why you're getting it. Because more and more people have been joining the book reading since we released the book. And it takes a lot of time to slow people down, to explain what it is. And the people who join every single month, we can tell they're getting tired. Yep, heard it all. So we decided we'll just send out the video so that when you get it, we wouldn't be explaining this at your book reading because you already have the video.
So it's saving time and it's giving you an introduction into what to expect because, wait for those trigger disclaimers at the end.
Yeah.
So a little bit more about you, love?
Corporate refugee I escaped about 10 years ago and decided to pursue self-healing because, like I said, I've been searching for it all my life and I've taken every modality known to man. I have done NLP, I have done self-hypnosis, I have done reverse hypnosis, I have done it all. I'm a hot yoga trainer, a teacher, I am a massage therapist, I'm a relationship coach. The list of the I ams go on forever. Published 2 books, but still was needing healing.
Absolutely. And that was exactly what I experienced in my journey. I grew up questioning everything from the time I was little, questioning my grandfather, who was a priest. Not the good one, but
But you became a chiropractor at a very early age.
I became a chiropractor at 13. I knew what I wanted to do in my life. I had this vision that I'm not going to have kids. I'm here to write a book, and I'm here to do something big, to create change in the world. And I'm not here to
Then why
save.
did you do the book?
Well, to help humanity remember, because I knew that if I was struggling and I hit burnout and I was frustrated that everything I'm trying is not working, that other people out there feel the same way as me.
So you call yourself a cannabis chiropractor. Why?
So as a chiropractor, I used to remove the interference in my patients' bodies, their nervous systems, so that their life force energy could flow. But then I realized they're coming back with the same pain and symptoms over and over. So at the height of my burnout, after our Bufo experience, when cannabis approached me and asked me to only revere her in sacred ceremony, she's like, Shelly, I know that you've been looking for something more your entire life. Stop looking externally. You're never going to find it. If you can imbibe me in sacred ceremony, I will guide you to everything that you're looking for and then more. So now, as a cannabis chiropractor, I guide people into their bodies with the assistance of cannabis to not only awaken their life force, but to use their life force to transmute the stuck energies of unhealed traumas that's physically manifesting as pain and symptoms.
But why cannabis?
Well, why cannabis is a great question, because you may be wondering, why do I need cannabis for this book reading? Isn't it just a normal book reading? It's not. We were born with an endocannabinoid system, and that system is our checks and balances system. Its sole purpose is to restore us to a state of balance, equilibrium, or divine union.
Moving from
a sympathetic state into a parasympathetic state, but also harmonizing our body and mind, our left brain and right brain, our masculine and feminine principles within us, balancing all of our hormones, our inner chemistry, because a psychedelic state is nothing more than our natural state. It's our higher self state when our higher self is embodied. But we can't get there with the ego intact.
So is it as simple as just getting high and going to a chiropractor?
No, it is not. It is a guided ceremony. Again, cannabis has to be revered in sacredness with rituals and an intention to check in, not to check out. Check in where? To the mind and body.
So this is what the book reading is about. We are going to guide you into a meditative practice.
A somatic
This is not
practice.
Your normal book reading, sit up straight and somebody's going to read a book. We are going to give you a list of things that you're going to have to bring. So what do you expect in the book reading, and what's the book reading about? Cannabis birthed this book.
And it's dedicated to cannabis.
So in order for you to receive the way that cannabis helped us write this book, we are putting you in the same state that we wrote the book from.
Which is a feeling state.
Which isn't necessarily a state of high. Like Shelley said, cannabis moves you from your sympathetic fight, flight, freeze state to your parasympathetic imbalance. So that is how this book was written, and this is how this book is going to be. Let's be clear. We are not just reading the book. I am, but my wife is singing the book.
Because all pain and all symptoms are nothing more than stuck energies. Stuck energies are energies that have slowed down and they're not moving. And as you will remember in the book, there are 7 different Shakti activators that awaken your body's life force energy. That life force energy is the power that made your body, and it's the power that can heal your body.
And why do you sing the book?
Because all of the Shakti activators that awaken life force energy are rhythmic. Stuck energies need rhythm to get them moving so they can be unstuck. Singing is one of the Shakti activators. It is sound. When I sing it, there is rhythm to the words. And in ancient times, all ancient knowledge and wisdom, rites of passages, were sung to you in ceremony, because singing is rhythm.
Even Sanatan Dharma, where a lot of this comes from, which is probably the oldest science on the planet.
Real science.
All information was passed on verbally through stories and through singing, where the rishi, the knowledgeable person, would build a fire and they would sit over the fire and musical instruments would be played. Musical instruments with very specific sound. Why? Well, those musical instruments, for example, during our book reading, my wife will read and you will hear a number of musical instruments. For one, a Tibetan sound bowl, tuned between 400 and 800 hertz. So you will hear the sound as she's singing the words of the book to you, the knowledge that the book contains.
The frequency of these musical instruments carries the frequency of the words that I am sharing with you from my book. And just visualize them flowing on those waves of these musical instruments to you.
The second instrument I'll play is a metal harmonica tuned to 963 hertz, which will again carry the sound into your frequency. The third instrument I will play, and I will switch back and forth in them, is a didgeridoo. So you will hear the sound of the didge, which is again another Aboriginal instrument being played. Why do we play the music? And is it important for you to hear it? Because we will give you fair warning.
We've had tech issues.
Whenever we do these book readings, and even our lives, because of the frequency of transmission we're sending out, there's always a technological issue. No matter what platform, no matter which mic, no matter what camera, something will go wrong. So we will invite you that even if you are having troubles logging in, expect that you will. Even if you can't hear the music, it's okay. You don't need to, because we are in a volcano. I am playing these music inside of that, which will send it into Mother Earth and find you wherever you are, as long as your awareness is present in the book reading and you can hear Shelley's voice, the music, and these higher vibrations will find their way to you.
Well, we are all connected through the collective consciousness, and these musical instruments send a frequency through the collective consciousness. Your fascia of your body is the pathway of consciousness in your body. So this is not just a meditation or a book reading, it's a somatic meditation. Somatic being somatophobia, same root word. Somatic mean body. So the more you drop into your body is the more you will be clearing out those pathways of consciousness in your fascia, allowing you to connect to your higher consciousness and actually feel and receive these frequencies of these instruments, as well as the words of the passages shared.
So the book reading is going to be more like a path, sound therapy between the singing and the musical instruments. Part breath work, because I will be guiding you into your breath, and also, again, somatophobia, fear of the body. The whole goal of this book reading is to take you into your body. So, what are they going to need?
First, you're going to need a safe and sacred space where you will not be disrupted, you will not have any distractions. You can lay down a yoga mat, you can lay down pillows, blankets. You desire to have a level of comfort depending on the positions that we will guide you into. So even if you have a yoga mat, have some pillows and blankets on the side. You may get chilly, but you may get warm.
We will ask you, we will put you into a deep, deep space. And again, this is not cult, this is not programming your mind. Everything is being done at a high frequency, and you will know that. So if that trauma shows up and go, oh my God, this is too cultish, that's your trauma self showing up.
Because there are wounds to be felt and to be healed from past lives that you may have been in a cult.
So you are going to need cannabis in a flower form, not in a liquid, not in a gummy, not in a vape. It has to be in a flower, and it has to be in a pipe, not in a joint. It has to be physically held in the hand, because where we are going to take you on how to imbibe cannabis properly, you're going to have to hold this pipe in your hand, and we are going to guide you through an energy practice to fuse energy into the cannabis and how to inhale it.
So in the Vedas, it was said that there is an angel that lives in the leaves and the flowers of the cannabis plant. And that angel that they were speaking of is the higher self of cannabis. So part of Cannabis's gift to me in writing this book is she gifted me with 9 divine passcodes to unlock her safeguard to her higher self that she does not reveal to anyone unless she is revered with sacredness, these rituals and intention. So throughout the imbibing ritual, we will be invoking her higher self, who is found in the leaves or the flowers of her plant material. Now, it doesn't matter what plant material you choose to buy, whether it's sativa, indica, a hybrid, what strain.
$25, $250, it doesn't make a difference. We're telling you now, it does make a difference.
And we've compared $50 an ounce to $400 an ounce
it
cannabis.
does make a difference.
You will still have the same level of shamanic journey into your body when imbibed this way, because you are working with her higher self, less of the plant material.
So you're going to need some comfortable clothes. As we guide you in, there's going to be a tendency to fall asleep because you're going to get really relaxed. So that's the only thing we're going to ask you. Tighten up your shiver, your container, and try and stay awake.
And we'll guide you in how to do that during the ceremony. If that sounds new to you, don't worry.
Don't worry about it. You'll be guided. If there's any anxiety that comes up imbibing, or issues regarding, oh my God, I have a bad experience with, please tell us, and we will
talk about that, because cannabis is just a mirror that reveals you to you. So any bad experience, any fear, any paranoia, any anxiety, cannabis is merely activating your mind and your body due to that endocannabinoid system that your body was born with.
So even if people tell you that cannabis is not my thing, or I don't, like my wife says, we all have an endocannabinoid system. It's built into our bodies with receptors for what?
Cannabis. And the moment cannabis activates those receptors, the mind and the body come online. So you are going to feel things you've never felt before. You are going to see and hear things about you that you've never seen or heard before. She literally, without an intention, she opens the door to your subconscious or unconscious mind, and she pulls out an intention that is rooted in fear. Why? Because she wants you to heal. She does not want you to check out. She does not want you to create another addiction. She does not want you to use her to escape. She wants you to heal. So that's why she's going to reveal a part of you to you that you don't want to see. So if fear shows up, what are you afraid of seeing or feeling? If paranoia shows up, what is she revealing to you that is literally inducing paranoia?
And we will ask you, if you say that, okay, I had a bad experience with cannabis, or cannabis is that, we'll simply ask, I did cannabis for years, I don't want to do cannabis. How did you do cannabis for years? Because everybody on the planet is doing cannabis from a recreational, I'm using it to check out, I'm using it to relax, I'm using it for pain, I'm using it for, there is no higher purpose and ceremonial way to do cannabis. Now, what do you need apart from the cannabis? You're going to need some water, you're going to need some comfortable clothes, preferably a Bluetooth speaker that you can turn on the volume really loud. If you are in a space that you can't play the music really loud because you don't want to disturb anybody and you don't want anybody to disturb you, put on a headset, and don't worry about the screen. You don't need to see us. You'll hear us. The goal is to hear us. Now, why cannabis?
Due to our endocannabinoid system, the moment we imbibe cannabis in sacred ceremony with rituals and intention, as I mentioned earlier, she drops us into our body, she awakens our mind. So our feeling presence in our body, if we are guided into our body, our feeling presence, our feminine principle, our life force, our Shakti, begins to awaken. as we guide you into the somatic breath work portion of the ceremony, breath is your vehicle of your life force. So you are now awakening your life force, and now you're moving your life force through your body to transmute energies.
Now you're going to have some people who are going to say that I don't need cannabis. I can do that with breath work or through meditation.
Hold on, let me finish. The mind comes in. Remember, cannabis opens the door to your subconscious mind, which is where all the files of all those unhealed traumas stored in your body are stored. The mind-body split is the world's greatest pandemic. It's an epidemic. We literally are disconnected between our mind and body. That is the root cause of all pain and suffering, and that is the essence of this book, somatophobia. We're afraid of the body. We're afraid to drop below our heads. So cannabis is the bridge between our mind and body through our built-in endocannabinoid system, whose sole purpose is to bring us back into a state of balance. So now, imagine this. You imbibe or you consume cannabis recreationally or medicinally to treat pain or symptoms, both of which create a codependency. Your endocannabinoid system goes to work in the background to restore you to a state of balance, but guess what? The moment that recreational or medicinal high wears off, so does the balance. When cannabis is imbibed in sacred ceremony with an intention to drop into your body, to meet, to feel, and to heal the root causes of what keeps you in a state of imbalance, now when your endocannabinoid system goes to work to restore you back to that state of balance, you are also uprooting the source of imbalance, allowing your endocannabinoid system to move you back to a closer state of equilibrium. So over time, with the daily practice, not necessarily with cannabis, but with a daily practice of uniting your mind and body, and then bringing in the cannabis to activate your endocannabinoid system, you start moving closer and closer to divine union, marrying the mind and the body, healing the pain of traumas in the body, and healing the story of traumas in the mind.
But I can do that with breathwork and meditation.
You can, however, cannabis alters our state of consciousness.
So you're telling me that my state of consciousness has to be altered in order for me to drop into my body.
Well, that was the reason why I spent thousands of dollars in 15 years of doing breath work, doing meditation, doing yoga, NLP, emotion code, you name the modality, I did it. I could not quiet my ego. That's why you invited me to do meditation for an entire year before I chose to join you. Because I'm like, meditation alone does not work. I cannot quiet my ego to get into my body.
And folks, if anybody wants to argue with me about meditation, I'll be happy to have that argument with you. And breathwork, that is my culture. That is what I grew up doing.
It's not even an argument.
Literally, I was raised to be a pundit. So if you want to have that conversation that you think you can get to this state that we're talking about with just your breath or just meditation alone, here's the reality, and I've done it for years. The human brain thinks 70,000 thoughts per day. That's 70,000.
That's how many per minute?
2,900 every hour.
That's a lot of thoughts.
It's a ridiculous amount of thoughts. So when you say that you can meditate and I can sit and I can just calm myself and then raise my frequency into where it needs to be to join the mind and the body together, I would tell you, good luck. Because even yogis who have dedicated years of their life disconnecting from all physical things and just dedicating time to healing, it takes them years to get to that state.
Well, it takes 7 years to awaken Kundalini, and that is with a dedicated, disciplined, committed self-mastery practice.
As a yogi.
As a yogi.
Not a normal person.
Who lives in a cave and has disconnected from all 3D reality.
Which is one of the things that we will talk about in the book reading. We also talk about that Kundalini, how to awaken your Kundalini using this medicine, sacred secretion and what that all means. So, what happens when a person says yes?
Well, the moment you say yes, the healing process begins. Your mind and body get the message. Your higher self gets the message. Oh, you are attending the book reading? Okay, so whatever you are going to heal in that book reading, you already start the process of that healing. So emotions may show up, conflicts, triggers, disagreements, fights with your family.
Something better to do.
Well, that's the ego coming up with something better to do. Once your ego, trauma self, not your higher self, it's the you that lives and functions in the lower state of consciousness. We are guiding you into your higher self, your higher state of consciousness. So your ego is going to fear that because it's going to lose power and control over you. The more higher consciousness you reclaim is the less power and control your ego has over you. So the moment you start the healing process, the moment you start feeling triggers and emotions and fears and this and that showing up, your ego is going to start pulling away and fearing what you are going to experience in the book reading. It's going to come up with every reason, justification, excuse, something better to do, just so that you do not attend the book reading.
So, look, there are going to be challenges. Like Shelley says, the minute you say yes, a lot of things are going to show up to make you say no. Here's what we're inviting you to, and it's free. Why do we do it? This is our gift back to humanity. You're getting 2 hours to just allow your brain to take a rest.
That monkey mind.
To just settle down.
Quiet.
So that for 2 hours, you can be absolutely at peace, listening to vibrational frequencies coming at you as you're guided into a practice of self-awareness. If you have family, invite them. Yes, you can make this a date night. It's going to be a beautiful, imagine a sound therapy experience for a 2-hour date night. We usually do it on a Friday night.
Absolutely.
Bring your partner, bring your children. I'm not saying that they have to imbibe cannabis, but I'm just saying, bring them.
Normalize the sacredness of these plant medicines with your family.
Which is crazy.
There should be no shame.
My wife and I talk about this all the time. Cannabis is listed in Ayurvedic medicine as one of the 5 most sacred plants on the planet. But yet we have so much shame with cannabis because, again, she's been vilified. She's been used recreationally by every single person walking this planet. She's been demonized. But here's the reality. Alcohol is worse for us. And yet we have no qualms sitting around our kids and popping open a can of beer or mixing a drink or having a glass of wine with our children around us, or giving them a message that, oh, this is acceptable behavior, knowing very well that alcohol is not good for you. But cannabis.
Well, alcohol placement is in every TV show,
Everywhere.
every movie,
every sports
normal.
that you go to.
It's absolutely normalized.
That's who sponsors it.
But cannabis,
that hasn't killed one person,
who can be a key to your liberation when imbibed in sacred ceremony. And that's the reason the war on drugs, prohibition, this demonization. In the first portal of somatophobia, I dive deep into the why she has been demonized. And it's literally to prevent humanity from remembering what our ancient ancestors knew about this sacred plant medicine and how she could guide us to everything we are looking for.
So in the book, you can get a lot more information. We give you the history of who originally was doing cannabis and how it was done. Now, we do have some triggers for you, and we know this video has gone on long enough, so we'll wrap it up for you. Trigger warning.
Well, first, triggers are opportunities for healing. What is a trigger? Let's say we have said something in this video and you felt something in your body that you're like, ooh, that doesn't feel good, or ooh, they sound judgmental, or ooh, they sound egotistical. That is a trigger because we are sharing our truth. We are not saying it is the truth. We're not saying we have found the way. We have found a way to our liberation.
And how do we know
that it works? Because I spent many years doing a lot of stuff that did not work. I did not see any progress. I didn't see any transformation. I didn't see my triggers decreasing. I didn't see my stress decreasing. I didn't see my hormones coming back into balance. I didn't feel younger and younger every single day. I didn't see increased flexibility and strength in my body. I mean, the list could go on and on and on.
So How do we know it works? We look at our lives where it was 5 years ago. We look at our lives where it is today. We pinch ourselves waking up every morning wondering, how did we end up where we ended up? We can't believe that our day starts with 3 hours of self-healing practice, and our evening will have 2 more hours. So we know it works. So when we say things, our goal is never to come across, we don't know anything. So,
and on this journey, the more we unravel from our body, which is where real knowing exists, the more we realize, wow, just how much we don't know.
So what we do know is that this works, and it works for us. So we're sharing with the world. That's why we put it in the book. We're sharing with the world what has worked for us. As my wife said, we're not saying it's the truth, it's our truth. And
Truth is triggering.
We work with a couple dozen people. We are seeing, it's not just us, we're seeing the benefits, we're hearing it. You can go to our website and see all the testimonials, and we have so much more. So we know whatever we've tapped into works. So if you have a trigger, if the trigger is these people sound too cultish, or I don't like this woman, how she's singing, I don't like the musical instrument, I don't like them saying this word or that word, or whatever that trigger is, always remember, every time you have a trigger, it is a representation of your trauma that is stored in the fascia of the body. If you're not addressing the healing in the body, hence somatophobia, you are not healing from the mind.
Well, you have to feel it to heal it. A trigger is poking a wound. That's really all it's doing. It's just poking a wound that's already there. We're not inflicting the trigger on you. We're not consciously trying to trigger you. It's poking a wound that is already there. Hence why truth oftentimes triggers. And this is why triggers are opportunities for healing. If you can, okay, I'm not going to blame them for triggering me. Let me drop into my body and feel what wound got triggered. And this is how you can take advantage of triggers as opportunities for healing.
And we'll give you plenty of experience with that during the book reading. So,
hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So that is our disclaimer. Like I said, we are going to invite you for the opportunity to feel your body, to feel if you do get triggered, to feel into it. Feel into our words as you're hearing the music and hearing the frequency of our vibration, and just enjoy 2 hours of absolute peace. If nothing else, just come and breathe into your body and connect.
And after hearing all of this, if you still choose not to imbibe cannabis, that's okay. Cannabis is not mandatory. However, just know that you're not going to go as deep into your body. Because I've worked with numerous sisters who it takes them a few cannabis ceremonies to actually drop from their head all the way down into their womb, into their body. So in this first introductory sacred cannabis rite of passage, ceremonial book reading, all in one kind of ceremony, you may meet a lot of self-judgment. You may meet a lot of frustration of, I can't get out of my head and into my body.
You may feel
Am I doing it right? Am I feeling it right? You may feel the need to purge.
You may feel different things. You've never used cannabis in this way, so we are guaranteeing you that you're going to feel something. But feel you.
And that something that you're feeling is you. It's the you that you've been afraid to feel. So don't fear where cannabis will guide you. Don't fear the triggers or what you may feel. Once you've said yes, follow through on your commitment. Trust. And we look forward to guiding you into your body. So we thank you for trusting us to guide you there, because that's all we are. We're not shamans, we're not healers, we're not gurus. We are our own shamans, our own healers, our own gurus. And this path that we are sharing with you is your path to awakening and remembering your inner healer, shaman, and guru. So it's our absolute pleasure to guide you in this ceremonial book reading. If between now and then you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out and ask. Anything else, my love?
See you at the book reading.
See you at the book reading.